unqualified apology, showing some remorse, but where the health minister is not showing any remorse, the finance minister who paid is not also showing any remorse, then the president is making fun of the situation. Please.
But apologizing means that then anybody can, sidestep the constitution, and of course we'll just ask for the person to apologize, and that's
no. I'm saying that at the minimum.
I know, but I'm saying that just in case that becomes the position of the health minister.
I am saying that he must take him through the law. He must be made to face the law.
Okay.
But I'm saying that for now, even before he goes through that process, somebody should be telling us, I'm sorry for what has happened.
All right. Kwesi, I'll let you take just a few seconds on this so we can move on. Our time's already gone.
I mean, on the issue of whether or not he acted in a day, I posed a question here. I said, if you look at circumstances where people go to parliament under certificate of emergency, those are in relation to bills. And he never disputed that. I'm coming. And again, I said, I did admit that if you look at parliamentary, how they do their business, it is possible. But the precedent that he has to cite to us is, has there been an instance of a pandemic issue that he failed to also? No. I'm landing. Just a quick one. Maybe you can have your bite. He kept repeating crime. Yes. And if you look at his position, I mean, you are a lawyer. He only aligned himself to the act part without bringing in the intent. Indeed, in criminal law, is when the intent has a marriage with the action. That is where crime can be established.
Do you know?
You look at somebody, if you look at the circumstances and everything, it shows that the motive or the intent was acting in good faith to prioritize human life. Then you sit here and make a case only on the
really? Act. Again, going back to the issue.
We can interrogate the facts.
What? On the 9th
No, I'm saying that that's the fact. That's the fact.
Before he even got advice
that's the fact.
from the Attorney General, before he wrote the letter to PPA, asking for the ratification, before he got in touch with the Russian government. So how do you say, what is the intent here then? Good. So, if you sign a contract even before you speak to the people who are supposed to advise you and are supposed to make it easier for you to get into this deal?
Does it not still boil back to what I'm saying? That the circumstances of the moment, the agency of the moment. And again, if today he had even gone through all these procedures, I have kept saying, and I'm going to repeat it, that it wasn't a guarantee or alliances for good.
It doesn't matter.
Anyway.
No, it doesn't matter. So hold on. It doesn't matter. Because he says that the Sheikh gave them the assurance that they will provide the vaccines. And in fact, the meeting that the Sheikh came into the country to have, he brought 15,000 of the doses. So 10,000 of them were the single doses and 5,000 was the double. And that was just supposed to show to governments that they had the vaccines. But the health minister, whoever had that meeting, kept the 15,000 and asked the Sheikh to go back and bring the 5,000.
My lady.
And so he showed some assurance that he would get.
My lady, can I?
Is that not the more reason why he
just 5 seconds for him, lawyer.
Allow me to land. Is that not the more reason why he would have allowed to the Sheikh? Because he has demonstrated.
But you are saying that there was no guarantee we would get the vaccine.
No, I'm saying that if you you did not hear me. No, I'm saying that even if we had gone through all these parliamentary procedures, it was not a license to have still gotten the vaccine. And so,
but at least we would have done the right thing.
No, yes, but at least the right thing and the better thing in this case was prioritizing human life, doing anything possible to still get the vaccine, and that we cannot run away from it.
Lawyer, please land on this so we can move on.
It is not only bills that are taken through certificate of agency.
No, I asked of a precedent in a pandemic when health minister has to take a... No, you kept distracting me anyway. No, you kept distracting me anyway.
Okay, but hold on, please. Let's speak.
You have spoken.
I asked of a precedent in a pandemic situation.
He's responding to that. Hold on.
Why do you think that there must be a precedent before a person acts right? Laws anticipate situations. Laws and procedures anticipate situations. The lawmakers and formulators of the procedures in Parliament anticipated that there can be emergencies, and for that matter has provided procedures how situations like this can be dealt with. So we don't need an emergency, we don't need a precedent to show. We have the procedures already laid down. And I've given you an example of a whole a holiday that was taken out in a day. And in fact, if you don't know, anytime Parliament is going to rise, sometimes it can take even a whole loan of 100 million through Parliament in a day. First reading, second reading, and we go to the third reading and it is passed. So that procedures have been provided. So to say that there's a precedent, we don't need a precedent to say that somebody is wrong. Now the final thing we need to also know is that we were talking about whether we will get the vaccine or not. That is not the point. The point is that somebody has been taxed as a minister to do a job. His is to get the vaccine.
And to protect lives anyway.
Please. He has been able to contact people. And the people have been able to fly into the country. All this while, and as an experienced person does not know he has to go through the law. And the person have come, shown you even samples. Yeah. And you still think that you can go ahead and it's still an emergency when we can still deal with the law. And look at the situation again. When did he get advice from the Attorney General? When did he write to procurement? So all these things, but you are aware, and you are a member of parliament anyway. He is a member of parliament, though, and I've told you that he has been the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee. So you cannot tell me he doesn't know what he was doing.
Bella, we'll have to move on, gentlemen. We'll have to move on. I'm sorry, but we have to move on. We've discussed this.
No, but I'm not happy here. I'm not happy here.
We've discussed at length.
Give me 5 seconds, and
I gave you a chance to speak, and he responded. We'll have to move on.
Can I react to this?
For the sake of time.
Give me 5 seconds,
please, for the sake of time, let's move on now. And talk about, the minority demanding abrogation of illegal Tema Motorway expansion contract with Motor Angel. And so yesterday, the ranking member on Parliament's Roads and Transport Committee governs Kwame Agboja demanded the abrogation of the contract between the government of Ghana and Motor for the Accra Tema Motorway expansion project. Let's see why he's asking for the abrogation.
What is the essence of signing a design and construct agreement illegally with Motor Angels? 27 kilometers of road work can be done surely by Ghanaian contractors. So we are calling on the minister, abrogate that illegal contract with Motor Angels. They are not qualified. PPPA never gave you authorization to sidestep Parliament. They only said you can go and do sole sourcing. But curiously, why would a government that talks about adhering or go and single-handedly pick Motor Angels? Is it because you have a personal interest that if they inflate the cost currently at 570 million, it benefits somebody in government? If not, just go on competitive bidding. And I can bet you, I said it and the minister said it is not possible that the top 5 road contractors in this country can do as good as a job that Motor Angels can do. The minister says, no, they can't. I feel very sad for the minister. That those same people you get contract to, that spent their money, 8 billion Ghana cedi that you don't pay. You think that they are not capable of doing 27 kilometers. I feel very sad.
That's Honorable Kwame Agboja. He's a member of the ranking member of the Roads and Transport Committee in Parliament. And Baba, I'll start off with you because this is coming from your side, and they're saying that, well, we want this contract to be abrogated. Because
the contract sidestepped Parliament, because the contract also went through sole sourcing, which I don't agree because, you see, this thing also smacks of the same Sputnik type of deal that we did. Because you see, can you tell me that road contract also is an emergency? What is the justification for asking for sole sourcing?
He says because the local contractors could not handle this.
That is even an insult to the road contractors of Ghana. An insult. And I think that we expect that the road contractors in Ghana should be able to respond to this and tell us that they don't have the expertise to do the Tema Motorway, the things that they are doing there, because I live in Tema. And so I know and I have been plying that road every day. Whatever they are doing there is not anything special that our contractors cannot do. Because we have renowned contractors that who have done wonderful jobs in this country. Do you understand?
But after a year, some of these roads go bad, which is why even the minister had indicated that they were going to increase the 1-year defect liability to 5 years for our local contractors, so that they will take ownership of the roads for 5 years, and if something goes wrong with the roads after that, they can still fix it.
I agree with him.
So is that probably not the reason why he's saying that maybe for a major project like Tema Motorway, our local contractors cannot?
It cannot be a justification to sole source one foreign company against about 500 companies that you have in this country. It cannot be. And I would challenge the minister at any day to come and tell me that when we profile all our road contractors, they cannot do the job that we are talking about. I will challenge them. At least I have had the benefit of being in government for 8 years as a deputy minister. And so I have been able to work with contractors. Do you understand me? I am saying that, one, you are going to do a road contract. I don't see it as an emergency in the first place. Why? What expertise is in this road that they are doing on the tema? Because you see, the basis to right to procurement for sole sourcing is where you think that you don't have the expertise or the type of thing you are going to do is of a special type that you can only get it from one source. That's the justification. So are you telling me that he is justified in doing this tema road by going sole sourcing? Again, in fact, if you are even sole sourcing a Ghanaian company, then we will say, fine, we will give you the benefit of the doubt. You go. And you see, as Abuja is saying, you owe Ghanaian companies, contractors, over 8 billion.
Yeah.
You are stifling them off funds. And let me tell you, the road contractors will tell you, and I listened to the vice chairman sometime when he was giving an interview, that their main problem, you see, expertise can be acquired. Do you understand? All these things you are talking about. If the road contractor has the money, he doesn't necessarily need to use his own people here. He can even import to come and support him, do it. But you are refusing to pay them here. And then you go out and say, because this one will be paid quickly, 500 and something million, it will be paid quickly.
570.
So somebody's interest will be taken care of.
No, but there was an avenue for local contractors to be part of this, because he said that if the company is not able to raise that $570 million, dollars for the roads, maybe a local contractor who can raise that money can come in as, a consultant.
And that is also even another insult to our contractors. Why do you want to make them slaves in their own country? Why do you want them to become a second thought in their own country? I am saying that, was it not also possible that you could have put together 2 or 3 contractors in this country? Do you understand? You could have put 2 or 3 contractors together, give them enough money, and then they can also import people to come and help them do it. This is what we do to ourselves in this country and where we are.
Would it not have cost more if they have to import people into
I don't think so. They will work within the budget you give them. They will work within the budget, because there are road contractors here who are collaborating with a lot of contractors outside already. It's not like they are starting now. So when you sit our road contractors down and say, look, this is what we have, this is the standard we have, can you do this ABC? If they will have to even put resources together, I am sure they would have done it.
Okay.
So you see, he is asking for it to be
abrogated,
not only because of the sole sourcing, but also sidestepping parliamentary procedures. And that is becoming a mark of this government.
Kwesi, is it not a problem that, again, for another contract, Parliament has been sidestepped? And, like Baba is saying, and of course, there are concerns out there that it looks as if something needs to be done, and Parliament has to give that approval, for some reason they are sidestepped. And then we come back with reasons why we did that. In this case, we're saying we did sole sourcing even because local contractors could not handle this deal. Is it not problematic?
Okay, Bella. So before I even go into issue, I want to find out what the member of parliament was saying. Was he quoting the finance minister, or it was just one of their assumptive and speculation?
The road master.
the road minister.
No, he was. And in fact, the road minister during vetting as well was asked this question.
Because it looks like if you look at how he put it, it was like an assumptive, assumptive thought. Anyway,
the road minister said, and even yesterday, the deputy road minister also reiterated what had been said earlier as to why they did not give it to local contractors.
Well. So, I mean, granted, without even admitting that is the case, that is just a reference that he's actually quoting the road minister. What it means is that we'll have 2 issues here. I mean, the first issue will be a question of law. That is, will be on the sole sourcing and, sidestepping parliament, which Article 1815 is very clear that any transaction involving a foreign entity or any foreign transaction will have to go through parliament for appropriation and approval. And I mean, this laws, even sometimes even beyond the law, you will still have politically exposed individuals and political persons even trying to still smuggle their way through the law. I mean, if you recall the Saglamitin deal, it went through parliament, but today there are a whole lot of issues with it. So for me.
But at least they went through Parliament.
Yes, but it doesn't still change the fact that there are still a criminal element in it. What I'm saying is
So are you trying to justify?
I'm not trying to justify. I just want to set a broader tone for the conversation. That if you look at this whole, thing called soul sourcing, probably, it's about time that as a state we also have to maybe look at it well. Because do we still have to give discretions to civil servants, public servants, and politically exposed individuals to be still doing soul sourcing in certain circumstances? Because, if you give bureaucrats that very broad discretion, there's a tendency of abuse. You understand? We saw it in the Kanazori deal, where one person was given a contract to build walls and other things. Today, we are seeing a replay, but we have to get the facts right. I have not been briefed about it, but if I get the facts, I'll also bring it. But we'll have to first of all also hear from the road minister in response to some of these allegations that have been made. But that is on one side.
But he's responded to some of these, because it's not the first time that the NDC is asking for the abrogation of this contract.
I'm saying
at the beginning of the year they did, and the minister at the time when he had been nominated to take up this position, when he made an appearance at the vetting committee, he was asked these questions, and these are the answers that he gave.
You just played a video where one party is making a case, and I'm saying that even in the interest of natural justice, you have to also let him respond to it. But even put that aside, I've responded to the.
Spoke before a bipartisan committee.
No, I am saying that it still doesn't change the fact that if you make a case against somebody, that this and this and this and that, it doesn't change the fact that the person has to respond. But I'm saying that...
Is he going to give the same answers again? Because he's already given the answers. If you want, I can read some of them out for you.
No, Bella, you see, what do
Because they are here.
No, Bella.
In black and white.
You see, when I asked a statement, I asked a question. I said, first of all, what he said, is he placing an assumption on the finance,
it wasn't an assumption.
And you came in.
Let me read it here.
Okay, fine.
So it says that appearing before the Appointments Committee on Tuesday, and this was on Friday the 19th of February, it says that appearing before the Appointments Committee on Tuesday, February 16, 2021, Mr. Mwakwata justified his decision to sole source the contract to a foreign contractor, insisting that no local contractor has the capacity to undertake the motorway extensions. He also admitted that he signed the agreement even though Cabinet and Parliament had not approved same. He pointed out that the Public Procurement Authority and the Central Tender Review Board of the Ministry approved the deal.
So it went through, first of all, procurement, right? And the question is on the sole sourcing, whether it's the best way to go.
Whether you should go to Parliament.
No. You should allow me to land. I'm coming. I was coming there. And if indeed, if you had allowed me, I admitted here that Article 1815 is clear that it should go through Parliament. So if that was not done, clearly there has been a violation, which will call on whoever is in charge to make that correction. But I'm saying that the soul sourcing, when it comes to issue about soul sourcing and the debate about it, we can resurrect some of these instances from the past. But the point is that let's have a broader conversation about this whole sourcing issue and then bring a finality to it. Whether or not in certain contracts, some of these discretions can be used. Because we've seen it being abused in the past, and today people are also bringing this out, that there is that tendency of abuse, of which nobody will be happy about it. Beyond that, if you look at some of the facts and some of the variables that goes into selection of contractors for contract, issue of financial capacity, of course, comes in. Your ability to, if you recall, the Kumasi to Accra Road, for instance, initially was given to one contractor. Issue of funding and raising resources also came in. So at some point, they have to identify 4 separate contractors, and some of these conversations have to start because issue of funding came. So it will be so simplistic for anybody to sit and say that, well, because a contract has been given to A or B, then it smacks some form of corruption. Indeed, if you listen to the Honorable Baba Jama, his statement, he was not able to point out the element of corruption. All what he did.
How do you mean by that?
All what he did was to speculate that because a contract has been given under sole sourcing, then it necessarily means that some form of corruption has been committed, which cannot
But he
be
also
sustained.
said it was insulting that, the minister would even say that local contractors could not have done this,
so
which is why they so soft.
Is that not the more reason why the local contractors will also call on them to come out with consortium and then bid for some of these contracts.
But listen, so again, August 8, 2017, the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, indicated that local contractors in the country would be awarded 70% of contracts. And according to him, the initiative will spur the economy and also is aimed at making local contractors vibrant and highly competitive against their international counterparts. But if in cases where they're saying that they could have done it, and now the minister is saying that I don't think they could have done it, which is why I gave it to them.
How many contracts have been given so far?
No,
and
but regardless.
I'm coming. He didn't speak in a vacuum. He referred to a contract. I mean, contracts. He was never referring to just one contract. How many contracts have been given so far?
Do you think local contractors could have done this job or not?
No.
This is your personal.
Let's take it one step. No, Bella, let's take it one by one.
Do you believe in our local contractors? Do you think they could have done this?
I believe in them, but I'll answer.
Could they not have done this?
I believe in them, but I'll answer your initial question first. How many contracts have been given so far? How many has been given to local enterprise or local contractors? How many have been given to foreigners? We answer that, then we move to the second question. Do I believe in local contractors? I believe in them. I believe in their capacity. I believe that contracts must be given to them. I believe that local content must be protected. The same way I also believe that when a contractor can provide quality, when a contractor can meet certain deadlines, when a contractor can raise funds, when a contractor can meet the requirement of capacity at a certain time.
But if you don't keep giving them some of these contracts, how will they be able to get better?
No, Bella, you see, again, you still take me back to the simplistic argument. As though one contract, as though the state will issue one contract.
Bella,
two.
Can I come in?
I'll let you come in after every comment.
There's also one aspect of the conversation that we are missing. I don't know, but I'll get the briefing and probably will come here again. In contracts like this, usually the nature of these contracts, especially the funders of where you get the loans from, sometimes there are requirements that you get their companies to come and execute the contracts and other things. But of course, I'm not saying that is this in this case.
Can I come in?
We'll get the facts and then if I'm properly briefed.
The minister should have mentioned those.
When you are
hold on, let me
just it doesn't change the fact that it is a possibility.
Let me read comments. But I think that the minister should have given out all these details then when he was being queried.
Journalists should also be able to ask some of these questions.
Which is why I'm asking you.
But at the end of the day, this question should have been asked earlier.
Okay.
Whether or not where the funders.
Well, they will defend because they are the same people with the same feathers. This is from Nana Owusu-Dwas. So the president was quick to put up a committee to investigate the former EC boss on procurement breaches and subsequently got her sacked. But today he sees that same issue as a laughing matter. Our president wants us to take him serious. And the finance minister thinks Ghanaians are being a nuisance for crying out loud. So sad. Good morning, Bella. The ruling government and its party members are very good at defending wrongs when everyone sees it. May God help us. We have the men, we're a party of special breeds. We don't make mistakes. His sack or resignation would break that myth. He isn't going anywhere. That's Koshi Badohu. I can't comprehend why some Ghanaians are unnecessarily arguing about the Health Minister's Act. Did he purchase chicken for himself or beef for his family? This is a vaccine procured for saving lives of the same people who are necessarily being vociferous. Rahim Oga from Tempani constituency. Criminal intention is discernible from action. If the action is of the minister and the Sputnik contract defied every legal roadmap, criminal intention is discernible. Koshi from Badohu. Ghana is not for NPP. A crime is a crime and must be dealt with accordingly. Both the finance and health ministers must resign or be forced to vacate their post. Fix the country. Michael Eke and Mbiri from Bolgatanga. Good morning, Bella. This is illogical. You cannot request for sympathy and at the same time attempt to defend the said crime. Worst of all is the president slighting the whole matter. This posture does not depict that of a remorseful person. Ricardo from Bichem. Good morning, Bella. The more the NPP government communicators try to defend the health minister and the Sputnik V deal, the worse it does to the case. Did I hear the NPP communicator on your panel talk of freight, insurance, refrigeration, etc.? Then how come that other countries got the same product at a much lower cost? The minister acted in violation of the law, and so he and all others involved in this bad deal must be sanctioned. That's from Issa Haku from Tamale. Musa Abatwa in Kumasi says, I'm deeply disappointed in President Akufo-Addo because of his comments about Kweku Agyemang-Menu, honorable by the way, in relation to Sputnik vaccine. Is Akufo-Addo saying blood is not running through our veins, hence we don't feel the heat of seeing our taxes being misappropriated? Okay, when will government and the NDC work together for the good of Ghana? Please fix the country and stop your political tactics to put dust in the eyes of Ghanaians. That's Daniel from East Legon. Lawyer, you have the floor now.
You see, the issue about sole source, I've tried to explain that. The rules and the laws are clear. There's nothing wrong with the sole sourcing laws, because we at a point, one or two contracts must go through sole sourcing, because there are certain things you may need that you can only get it from one source, and you don't want to waste time to go through competitive tendering, because finally you get what is obvious. So sole sourcing is there. So my brother, there's no argument about sole sourcing. You see, when you're not properly briefed on the matter, I don't think that you should continue to talk about it. When you admit that you are not properly briefed. Two things stands out here. One is that the thing didn't go through parliamentary approval. That is one. The other thing is that it has been gone. It is gone for sole sourcing, and it's gone to a foreign company for a whooping sum of 571 million. That amount given to our contractors locally, the money stays here. It builds capacity in this country. That's what we want. And we were looking at a government that came on the agenda of protecting the public purse. Why is the protection of the public purse here? So, my brother, when we talk about that, there is, crime, or we were talking about menstrual and actus rules, when the intention and the action. My brother, the intention can only be deduced from the actions that you have done. Whether you had the opportunity to correct it or you didn't have. Like in the case of the health minister, a person who is in parliament, who sits in parliament every day, and parliament is in session, cannot tell me that he cannot use a day to go and get approval for something that he intends to do. So when you talk about intention is deduced from the actions that you do. Then finally, you see, this country today is very sad that all the things that were crime in the last government is no more crime today. So when EC, somebody said it, when EC boss elected for procurement bridges was taken there, in a matter of 2 months, she's already out. Now, the same bridges have been raised on several public offices, including this one, and nothing is happening. Yet, of course, yet.
You never know. Maybe the president.
But we have already gone through a first term.
We're waiting for the health minister to come back from his leave. Who knows?
The first term. We have gone through the first term. 4 years has gone. We are in the 5th year. So, like the Atlantis say, this is a clear classical situation. I want listeners to understand that this government is not interested in dealing with corruption matters. No, they are not. The president himself who said he will protect the public purse, it's not protecting the public purse because he wouldn't have been flying 15,000 an hour for a flight in our circumstance. And I heard my brother trying to even compare us to Israel. When Israel got it at $15, you a poor country, you compare yourself to Israel. Even Israel, who is rich, got it at 15.
They bought it twice. I've just been.
And you go and get it at $19, and you want to tell us that is justified.
They got it twice. What?
Twice the price. I mean, they bought it $20.
$20, not 15.
So he relied on my research. Next time you should do your research.
No.
But I'm just
because you mentioned that they got it
on your
for 15.
statement.
No. But
I am making an analysis of your statement.
No, they got it 20.
And they dealt directly with the government.
I am saying that even if I was quoting directly from you, so if you are wrong, then I am wrong. So it's not me being wrong, you are the wrong. I'm making an analysis of your statement that if you say that Israel got it $15, okay, we bought it at 19. Now you are saying 20, even 20. If a rich country like Israel can't get it at 20, then we should get it far, far lower. Do you understand? We should be doing better negotiations and whatnot, and taking it through law. I am worried that a human rights lawyer is the president of this country, and there's so much infractions on the law. Okay. No regard to the law. That's my worry as a citizen. That a human rights lawyer who is in charge of this country Under his
But you are done. You are done. I think I addressed that.
Can I finish? Are you the host?
Please land for me so we
Because
can.
you are repeating yourself. You are repeating yourself.
See, please allow me to do my job. Thank you very much.
No, but I think you are.
Allow me to do my job.
No, but you
I've been
are
giving
giving
you
him
equal
more
time.
time.
No, I've been giving you equal time.
spoken more than
Don't
I did.
worry.
Your closing remarks is saying you got.
Now you are letting the time go by without making it.
Yeah, it's me.
Just
Not
to
him.
conclude that I am worried as a Ghanaian that under a human rights lawyer, we are seeing too many infractions on the law, too much sidestepping of law, parliament, and everything that is
Human
that
rights and criminal law.
is what we all of us as people must be worried about.
All right. Okay.
When I said he had nothing to say, you were challenging me.
Final words.
What is the correlation between human rights and criminal law?
Then you don't understand.
No, what is the relation between
Because
human
you
rights and
don't
criminal
understand.
law?
He
was just allow me just to
he doesn't understand because he doesn't know.
They'll take us
Right.
You see nowadays,
Borders
He
doesn't know.
Borders of what?
Final
He
words.
confused source sourcing with single sourcing. He confused source sourcing with single sourcing.
Okay.
Let me land.
Gentlemen, I'll have to go if we cannot.
The way you are pointing of legal me is disrespectful. Don't do that.
No, but your fingers are
I
also
said I'm not pointing at you.
No, it's
This is my hand.
No.
It's at what?
I said the way you are
those are
pointing
guests.
at
I apologize for that.
Don't do that.
If you take
Thank you.
offense to
Thank you for
that. Those are guests, and I
apologizing.
apologize for them if you take offense to that. I did not in any way want to disrespect you anyway.
We have to go.
But I'm also not happy when you also
Thank you
pointed
so
your
much.
fingers on me.
Kwesi Kwanten is a member of the NPP
Probably
Communications
you should
team,
be
and
putting
Lawyer
them in
Baba
your
Jamal
pocket if
is
that is
a
the law.
former MP for Akwete and is also from the NDC